We are live. On time, I think. It's come up on my screen. Excellent connection. That's a rarity. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a Send It live stream. Been a little, well, I say it's been a little while. It was last week. But yeah, we're off and running today. And we shouldn't have any problems today, hopefully. I checked beforehand that there were no errors on YouTube side, and there isn't any. So we should be good this time. Obviously, we know what happened last week or the week before. So, yeah, going to be a nice chilled stream looking at the latest charts. There's some extremely epic ones in the medium to longer term range. But, of course, they are just for fun, such as the GFS today has been pretty epic, I must say. So, yeah. The rain has got wettery. Hello to you, Lee. Mohammed, models are changing. For next week, I'm seeing a lot of snow for Western Europe. Hello to Mark Hill. How are you? I'm not too bad. Took a little break off of YouTube for a couple of days to kind of just think about things. But I'm back. Hello to Finn. Hello to Chris Grayson. Hi back from Carlisle. Nice one. Hello to Brandon as well. Lee Sims, the rain has just got wetter. Oh, I did just read that, didn't I? Hello to Laura Johnson. James, hi, send it in chat. Hello to you, James. Moderate, James. We've also got Danny and Andrew potentially on here as well. I'm sure they'll be keeping an eye out as well. Metsuit, hello to you. We've got Frog Legs in here as well. Been raining most of the week. Yeah, it's been a pretty dismal week. 1 million adverts. I've paused them. I've literally paused the ads, so there shouldn't be any. Hello to not Josh. Hello, and silly Atlantic pressure breaking up the beast from the east. Yeah, it's definitely stopped things, hasn't it? When will we get snow in northeast England? Well, you should have been getting some Monday into Tuesday potentially, but now I'm not too sure. But again, we'll have a look at the latest to see what is being shown. Could be some interest even around as early as Tuesday for snow. We are not saying that again. No chance am I saying that. Just rain, no snow for Cornwall. Hello to Jacob. Element been awful week for weather this week and next week. Yeah, it's not great, is it? I've already got 44 of you in here for a quiet stream. That's pretty damn good. But yeah, we'll get straight on. Carrying on the momentum from where we started, of course. Right. Let's bring up something, instead of just looking at my face and a weird screen, let me just pop out the chat so I can read your messages as I go along, and we'll go over to Weta Central. Let me know if you like the thing in the top left, the GIF, as well. Let me just bring up the chat so I can read all of your messages, and we'll get started straight away, because why not, you know? Yeah, hello to Beans on Toast. I love that name. Right. So, let's get started. Let's take a look at the GFS to start with. So, we've got an area of low pressure sat across parts of Cornwall at the moment. That's bringing in some quite wet and windy weather to parts of the south and southwest. And as it moves around the country, it's circling around. It's moving closer and swerving away. And we do see some slightly colder air digging into the north and the east. So, you can see some slightly colder air is digging into northeast Scotland, parts of northern England as well. And then we've got the Atlantic moving in, so obviously we've got this big band of heavy rain, which could be sleet and snow across parts of Scotland and the far north of northern England. Maybe the central belt of Scotland could be snow. However, everywhere else it looks like cold rain. So you can see areas of low pressure because of the heights to the north and the northwest up towards Greenland and Scandinavia. As that low pressure moves in, it is weakening. So we will see that low pressure system breaking up. So you can see a little system there. Going to bring some heavy rain to many parts of the UK. Looks quite wet and windy for the first half of next week. Moving on beyond that into the second half again, well, we're continuing to keep unsettled. However, something very interesting does develop into the first days of February. Heights still are remaining up to the northeast, and eventually the winds go as this area of low pressure clears to the south of the country. I mean, thanks to James for showing me this. As that low pressure clears to the south of the country, look at that cold pool just to the east of the UK. We've got low pressure out to the west. It's been trapped by heights to the north, pushing it away, and all of a sudden that low pressure clears to the south and we get a proper easterly blast. You can see colder air is immediately arriving across the UK. The -10 isotherm is covering all parts of the country. bitterly cold across many parts of Europe, Western Europe in particular, up to Scandinavia, Norway, Denmark, plunged into the freezer, and an area of low pressure is down to the south. There's nothing marginal about that with that cold air in place. Really cold easterly winds with the -10 line covering the UK. An area of low pressure bumps into that cold air, and that is a big snowmaker for particularly the south, to be honest. Maybe even south of the M4. You can see in them green colours it can actually snow. So there could be a lot of heavy snow in the south with that if that came off. We maintain the blocking up to the north and the northwest, and we continue very cold easterly winds. They're very unstable as well. Harsh overnight frost, heavy snow showers, definitely possible here were it to come off. And you've got to remember that this change is only 180 hours out. This low pressure system, like we've seen before, is the trigger for the colder air. So it's not out of the question. And blocking patterns do look good into the start of Feb. So that is a very interesting run, and one which will certainly shock a few people, I think. However, it is the GFS, so unreliable. Paul Gerlin, evening to all. Hello to you. Good evening to weather fans, Michael. Hopefully you're okay as well today. It's a very interesting run. No US No US snowstorms this time. Yeah, let's hope we get the cold. Yeah, and the cold will happen like as Rossby waves rise up and destroy the polar vortex. Yeah, that would be interesting. 63 of you. That's not bad at all. Let's have a look at the GFS run. And there's a bit of snow on there. I'll show you that in a minute. Let's have a look at the GFS run. Make sure to drop a like on my stream. If you want to support the channel, all my links are below. Remember, I've got a members stream tomorrow at 3 p.m. So if you want to become a member, the links, well, there's a join button, and you can pick one of the options if you want to become a member of the channel from as little as 99p. And you can watch exclusive streams, and sometimes there will be some or exclusive videos, I should say. So anyway, let's get on. So obviously this is the GFS run. We've just looked at the American model run. Let's see what it's showing again. We've got a band of rain as it moves into that cold air across the Pennines, the Yorkshire Dales, into parts of central Britain, and not the Yorkshire Dales, and central belt of Scotland, into northeast Aberdeenshire, turning to snow. Most areas seeing some pretty cold rain, so not great conditions, I must say. Continuing to see bits of snow for the north of the UK. Excuse me. And, yeah, it's definitely not cold at this point. You can see we continue to bring in areas of rain from off the Atlantic, and we are looking quite unsettled. We've got some air as the colder air digs in from the east. Yeah, I wonder if you got that one. Get that one noted down. As we drag the wind in from a southeasterly to a yeasterly, we see that the snow showers begin to pack in into north-east England. Northeast Aberdeenshire, parts of central belt of England, well, the central swathe of England, I should say. Maybe as far south as the Midlands seeing rain, but of course it's a long way off. And you continue to see snow showers packing into eastern and southeastern areas, the most exposed coastal locations. North York Moors, for example, and we continue to see those snow showers packing in as that area of low pressure bumps into that cold air. Nothing marginal about that, like I said. Maybe the far tip of the south and southwest seeing rain, but overall that is a bit of a snow event as far north as London, south of the M4 corridor with that one, so plenty of snow to be excited about there were that to come off. But you can see continued snow showers into the east and northeastern regions. They would drift inland because it's quite a strong flow, so you could see snow just about anywhere with that. And you just continue to see wintry showers flooding into the north and the east. You can see though, typically with this pattern, because it's an easterly wind, we're not seeing as many snow showers for Scotland as you'd expect. So yeah, it's pretty interesting run. London, whoop whoop. Yeah, 99 pence bargain. That is it's not bad, is it? I don't think that's too bad, and it helps support the channel. Any snow for Peterborough with that one? Yeah, definitely. Definitely with that one. Anyway, I could see snow, to be honest, with this one. It's not marginal about that. If you look at the upper air temperatures, you can see we are plunged into the freezer. Like, -10 is the threshold for, well, what I call cold, like proper cold weather in the UK. You can see that the south is slightly less cold, but again, who cares? It's so far out, it doesn't matter. But yeah, very interesting run, nonetheless. Let's see if the GM does anything like, and if it has a similar sort of trend. What's all this stuff in the strat warming? I'll show you that in a minute. I was going to get onto that after I showed you these runs. Said this all last week. No snow this week. Always next week. Lol. What? Okay. Not sure what you mean by that. The rambling soldier, but yeah. Send it, are you, Gooner? What? Who? No, I'm not. I'm ready for spring now. Bring on the warmer temperatures and thunderstorms. Yeah, we need to see those thunderstorms and you. Well, I say you'll probably watching those thunderstorms and monitoring them so that you can see the team getting out. You need to get them in. Well, hopefully spring and summer's fruitful this year and it's not a disappointment again. And then we see some proper thunderstorms for you. Maybe I'll join you one time. Who knows? Who knows what the summer might bring? Anyway, right, GM time. Let's see what this shows. So, of course, we are unsettled for the start of next week. We do see a brief easterly airflow through the early hours of Monday. But by Tuesday, low pressure systems are moving in from off the Atlantic, turning us very unsettled, particularly in the west and the southwest parts of the Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, southwest England, southwest Wales, and northwestern England are your most exposed locations. You can see those lows spiralling around. However, again, with this run, which is interesting, heights are still remaining to the north, not quite Scandinavia, but like an Icelandic high. We do see some increased heights. Areas of low pressure are still sliding southwards, and eventually you can see that colder air tries to dig in from the east, but only goes into Scotland, only makes it as far as Scotland. We kind of don't power down the Atlantic, I guess is the correct phrase. The Atlantic continues to move in, it still has a lot of energy, so those continue to rattle in, and it prevents us seeing any cold air. On this run, to be fair, from the GM, it's the cold air's quite subdued, and it's really far to the east. It's over Western Russia, pretty much. Some of it does sink into parts of Europe, but it's quite limited in its extent. So, not as good as you'd expect from the GM this time. Looking at the ECM to see if we have any sort of consensus. Again, brief easterly wind through the early part of next week, on Monday, before the Atlantic's back in through Tuesday. Again, you can see a little bit of an interesting trend. These low pressure systems are tracking further southwards, so we've got heights up to the north and the east, and we're trying to bring in colder air, so that's not exactly bad, but it's not great. Not great for coldies, to be honest. You can see brief colder incursions into the north, but nothing too ridiculous going on there. Looks quite unsettled. Atlantic-driven flow. I have got up Meteo-CL so we can have a look at the stratospheric developments as well. Finally, let's look at the AI runs. Oh, wow. I bet not many people have shown this on the videos today. This is the AI FS, the ECM version. Let's just skip out to day 10. Let's just go crazy. Areas of low pressure are sliding southwards, and the winds are already in from an easterly direction. I've got heights up to the north, or slightly higher pressure up to the north. By the 4th of February, we're all into a cold easterly again, northeasterly flow, with winds from the northeast, plenty of wintry showers potentially, and then we've got blocking developing towards Greenland at the end of the run, turning very cold at the end, I must say. -5 line, plenty of snow showers through the country there. That area of low pressure is going into parts of Spain and Portugal, so keeping us cold and mostly dry actually. We do have some sort of heights over the top of the UK, which is keeping us mostly settled, but quite frosty. Probably some quite harsh overnight frost were that to come off. Of course, extended range unsettled is the general theme for the next week. But beyond that, things I guess again are subject to change. So yeah, there's one to watch. Kieran, thank you very much, Kieran. I do appreciate it. Love your presenting skill, Matthew. Your enthusiasm is great too. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Kieran. It helps to support the channel, as always. As always, it does help support the channel. Thank you as well to Connor Jones for subscribing. Hello to you. Menzie saying, wow, yeah. Mid-Feb to early March is the time for snow. Yeah. Well, we hate it. we hate February, March snow. That's when it causes trouble. You want to get rid of it in March, don't you? You know. Andrew, yes, I'm getting back into my fitness. Need the motivation. Winter doesn't help. Well, because you're always stuck in a blizzard. You're always stuck in a blizzard. There you go. That's typical. Right. Anyway, Um, again, thanks, Kieran. And yeah, thank you. Right. Let's have a look at the strat. This is the GFS 12Z. I'll run you through what a sudden stratospheric warming is, what implications it can have on the UK, and the likelihood. This is going to be Send Its Mini explanation. Thank you to Lee as well for sending a channel membership. Congratulations to Mango Kiwi for for receiving a channel membership. Nice one. Shy saying, once March comes, the sun to warm, snow melts at midday. Yeah, exactly. It goes away, to be honest, doesn't it? It goes away really quickly. I think we are being teased again by the weather. Probably. Interesting question from British Barker. Nice question. What's your thoughts on the complete collapse that is caused by the SSW? Nothing much, really. To be honest, March 2013 wouldn't go to... No, it certainly wouldn't go amiss, to be honest. Cheshire, probably just wet, to be honest. If I was to have a guess, probably just wet. Oh, wow, this is really good from the GFS. This is what I mean. Right, I'll explain this as well as I can. We've got heights building over, well, I say heights building. It's higher average pressure in the stratosphere, which is towards Siberia. We also have some minor warming taking place, or gathering pace, over, well, the Atlantic. But again, this is in the stratosphere. What you want for a sudden stratospheric warming is for warming to gather pace at both sides of the polar vortex, which is this big blue, and basically because the strength is quite high, forces towards the polar vortex from both sides or from one side, depends on the situation, and causes it to split. Or we see that much warming that it's being displaced, it's being split in two, and you do see one lobe usually go towards Alaska, one lobe goes towards Western Europe, and the UK can see colder weather from it. Lots of places can see impacts from it. The UK can. Let's see what the GFS 12Z does. Right. See that warming, gathering pace to the south. We are displacing it. We are stretching the polar vortex to its absolute limit, which is where it can split. So you can see here it is being stretched from Alaska to Western Europe, towards maybe even as far west as Russia, in the stratosphere. Remember, there's troposphere, stratosphere. Stratospheric impacts can propagate down to tropospheric impacts, which is what we see at the surface. So we see that big stretch of the polar vortex taking place, and eventually you can see that it is splitting in two. One lobe's going to the east, one lobe's going to the west. Going beyond that into the extended range, let's see what happens. So, again, we continue to see that warming maintained. Yeah, it's pretty extreme. You can see that it does kind of reform back to itself because the warming's not intense enough. So it does split it briefly. That might be a sudden stratospheric warming. It does split it briefly. However, excuse me. Sorry about that, that's disgusting. However, the warming intensifies again over parts of Scandinavia in the well, actually over parts of Siberia in the stratosphere, and you can see that that is a proper sudden stratospheric warming. That is in the very extended range, though. We're out to the 6th of Feb. Sorry, the 9th of Feb. So very, very long way off. But you can see that warming place was taking place from around 192 hours. But that is a very significant warming, wow. We're down into them red colours, which indicates a proper sudden stratospheric warming. Basically, a reversal of zonal winds is when you revert the winds from east to west. So it's below 0 metres per second, so in the minuses. Usually they're in a positive phase, they go like this. In a negative phase, they go like this. So that's the difference. It basically moves things around. The lag time usually is around 2 weeks. However, as some other people have said, and probably I agree as well, if we did see a proper sudden stratospheric warming, we would see a quick impact, I think. If it even affects the UK. Again, they don't always affect the UK. The lag time, I'd reckon, would be about a week to a week and a half. So if it happened, let's say, on, I don't know, the 4th of February, for example, I would say impacts around the 13th, middle of the month. So, yeah, one to watch. Now, if we have a look at the... we can have a quick look at the ensembles, but this will be only picking out a few to see what they are showing. I haven't obviously looked at these recently. So this is the mean. This is the average of all of the runs in the GFS ensembles. Let's see what they are showing. Thank you to Risco's, Risco SUK as well. Whoop whoop. Thank you to you as well for the super chat. Wow. God, you're all being too generous today. Nice ASMR sounds, but... yeah, that would be pretty epic, wouldn't it? First week SSW is the great opportunity. Hello to you, Sam. Yeah, possibly. I'm still a little bit apprehensive about cold, to be honest. I've got to be honest. And I know I did them things last week, but anyway, enough of that. Moving on. I'll do my own thing. That's it. Anyway, that's all I'll say on the matter. Yeah, I'm still a bit sceptical of cold. Obviously, we've had little teasers of things in the past few weeks, and they haven't come to fruition, but a sun stratospheric warming is really what we need for proper cold in the UK. To be honest, if we can even find it, people are being generous because you are brilliant. Seriously, I'd say all right. I'd say all right. Long-lasting impact certainly could be frog legs. This is the mean. Right, that's good. That is actually very good. So you can see, right, this is the general theme from the GFS ensembles. So around the start of February, so around the 3rd to the 4th of February, we can see the polar vortex is being stretched. It's being put under pressure with this warming to the south, minor warming to the south and minor warming to the north. They're pushing towards the polar vortex, causing it to stretch. And eventually, it does cause almost a split. However, you can see that the warming re-intensifies up to the north and eventually into the extended range. So, 7th of February. Sorry, I need to have a drink. Losing my breath here. That's a good cup of that. So, around the 7th of February, we can see a split taking place. One lobe's going to the east, one lobe's going to the west towards Alaska, and one lobe's going into Europe in the stratosphere. So that is very encouraging. If that happened, and obviously this is just an average, so there's some runs which won't reverse it, some runs which do. So if that happened, that probably would be a sudden stratospheric warming. We will have a brief look at some runs, just for an idea. Run number 1 from the ensembles splits it in the extended range, proper split, quite significant warming taking place there, one lobe going into either side. That is a sudden stratospheric warming. Can see though it being stretched, so that on the 2nd of February and beyond could already be having impacts. It depends on how much it's stretched, because if it's stretched to its absolute limit, being displaced, then you could see impacts with that early on. It's not always a sudden stratospheric warming that can have an impact. It's things before that. Run number 2, this is what I mean by a mean. It doesn't really, you could technically say it does split it. Probably is a sudden stratospheric warming, but barely. It's a little bit touch and go with that one. Run number 3, let's see what that one does. Does not split until eventually at the end does split it, the polar vortex. Looking for 2 lobes to basically go in opposite directions with quite a significant warming taking place is a sort of idea you're going. Send it to Gather the 2 best and Mark Rogan, yeah. Cheers. One of the best ones out there compared to most of them. Cheers, I do appreciate it. These T's can be a sign if there's a continuous SSW on the horizon. Wind 17, 18 is a good example. Exactly, Sam. That is a very good note. It's a very good note to make. Yeah, Michael. Yeah, I watch him. I know a lot of people that watch Weather Fans Michael. He'll also be, I think, live tomorrow if he's in the chat. You can say. British Barker, can't wait to see the newspapers. I can picture the headline "Beast of the Easter Return." Yeah, imagine. Yeah, that would cause chaos in this day and age, wouldn't it? Hello to Shaz. Apologies late again. No problem, Shaz. Hello to you. Hopefully you're doing well on this Saturday evening, night, and evening. You know what I mean. Yeah. They're all great. There's plenty of great forecasters out there. Yeah, definitely. I watch quite a few. I'm sure many of you do as well. And of course, some are close to the link. This is what I mean, by the way. Run number 4 stretches the polar vortex to its limit by the 1st of February. Doesn't weaken it, though, enough. And actually, it's still combined together. As Jacob just said in the chat, yes, a split is ideal rather than a displacement event. Basically, if these blues get displaced from one place to another, that's a displacement event. That is not great. They can have impacts, but they don't typically tend to. You want lobes to be splitting for a proper impact, is what I'm trying to say. Run number 6. I'm just looking at a few. Splits it in the extended range. Let's click on run number 11, because I feel 11's lucky. Never mind. Warming dissipates quite quickly. The blues are still together. Run number 25. I don't know. Doesn't split it, see? Run number 30. That looks better. That splits it early. About 216 hours splits it. A very significant warming with this run number 30. Very good. However, again, these two lobes could join together, and that would be devastating for the UK. We won't see it. There is a very slight difference in a split and a displacement. Yeah, but usually a split is way better suit than a displacement event. 400 mile wide Snowmageddon. Yeah, you can imagine the tabloid titles if that happens. Interesting, the Metaphys put out a sun stratospheric warming with it video today. Yes, it is a very interesting sign. I'm not surprised, actually, because it's tentative signs. This is the ECM. This has been very tentative over the last few days, but consistent. This is, again, the same thing, just represented differently in a chart. This is the mean zonal winds at 10 HPA, so basically what we just looked at. Remember, if they do go... well, let's just say below this line. I know it's a bit hard to see. If they go below this line, that is a technical sudden stratospheric warming. If we have a look between the 6th and the 12th of February, you can see quite a decent clustering of ensembles going for it. Nothing record-breaking, ridiculous, but there's quite a consistent amount going for that, and that's quite a lot of runs to be incorrect. You can see the mean, which is this blue line, this thick blue line, is going down. So it is trending weaker than average of the polar vortex until the end. Naturally, it does weaken as we go through January into February and March. It does naturally weaken. It's already plateaued a couple of weeks ago with its strength. So, yeah, it's a tough one. Will it be a sudden stratospheric warming? It's a bit too far out to say. I don't think anyone can say it with confidence. There is a lot of runs that are suggesting it. Sorry, there are a lot of runs that are suggesting it. But it's still a little bit far out. But yeah, anything below the 0 line is a strat warming, which is good, obviously. And there's quite a few going for it, to be honest. I wanted to search up a website to bring up the GFS ensembles to give you an accurate representation of what they are showing as well. This is encouraging. I know this is really hard to see, and I'll try and make it as good as I can. This is from the 12Z ensembles. This is from the GFS, what you've just looked at, and I showed you a few of the runs. I've just said that SSW does not guarantee cold. Yeah, it doesn't. Who said it guaranteed cold? Not me. Who said it guaranteed cold? Because I certainly didn't. Hello to Crift Beast as well. I certainly did not say anything about that, but there you go. Right. 12. So this is from the midday runs. So we're looking for the runs going for a reversal below the 0 line, and you can see there are quite a few going for it. Again, it's a bit far out. I don't know. If it was in the reliable time frame, I would be like, yes. I already made that mistake last week. But I'm not sure. Sun stratospheric warming is looking decent at the moment. It's looking like a decent chance, I'd say 40 to 50% from the runs, what I can see so far. But I'm just not very confident on it, to be honest, happening. I know some people will and some people won't, but there you go. I'm not very thingy on it happening, to be honest. Would be nice. It would be nice. I won't deny that. But I just can't. And just the likelihood is a bit low for me. I need to see more runs supporting it. Yeah, they should make a film, The Man Who Lives in a Shed, Adventures of James 098, yeah. Bearing in mind the SSW that occurred in 2013 was just displacement 1. That had massive impacts on March. That was a rare occurrence, though, wasn't it? I know it did have impacts, but it's quite rare to me for a display. We do commonly see displacements, but we don't normally do anything. So, yeah. 60 to 70% chance of a snowy spell next week, yeah. Matthew, would you support any football teams? Not really, to be honest. Maybe, I mean, I'd have to support Barnsley, but do I? Not really. I don't really support any team, to be honest. So that's that one. That's that dilemma dealt with. Moving on to the let's see, London GFS ensembles for the next few weeks. See what they are showing. This is the 850 HPA temperatures. The red line is the 30-year average. The green line is the GFS ensemble, which I did show you earlier, the extreme run. And then each individual line is an ensemble run. So, as you can see, starting off, we are around to slightly above average, slightly below average further north, slightly above average further south, but nothing too ridiculous. Going towards the end of Jan and the start of Feb, we're kind of oscillating around average, but albeit with a lot of scatter. So you've got outlier runs at south and north ends of the chart. You've got some milder runs up here, and you've got some, well, very cold runs down here. However, they are in a significant minority. There's about 3 or 4 runs doing it. They're actually more extreme than that GFS run I showed you. So not well supported at the moment. Of course, it's a long way off and unreliable. But there's a cluster in there. Most of the runs keep us around average, so average to slightly above average temperatures probably. But there is a clustering of colder runs, and we'll have to see if they are supported over the next few days. Sorry, I'm like shuffling around here. No. Let's have a drink and let's get on with the next bit. Hopefully you're all enjoying this one, everyone. Nice little bag of laughs, this one. Comparing to the AI models to see what they are showing. Well, look away if you want cold. That's not great. There are again, a clustering of cold runs around the 1st of Feb. Again, minority. The ECM AIFS operational run was on the colder end of the spectrum. It was actually an outlier. Was not well supported at all. So, definitely not great from the ECM AI, but doesn't mean it can be discounted. As you can see at the end of the run, there's quite a few colder runs in the mix. -5 is the threshold for colder air. There's quite a few going towards that. 10 to 20%, probably. 30% maybe. Again, extended range. Anything beyond day 10 is extremely unreliable. Anything beyond day 7 is also unreliable. So, yeah. Let's have a look at the UK Met Office run. See what the snow risks are looking like for next week, because there are going to be a few around. The new runs are in now, right? Yeah, that's the ones I've just shown, Mohammed. Yeah. Rather strange to go outlier so early, yeah. Isn't the operational run normally at the average, not the outlier? No. The operational run is usually the ones which I show you here. So, if I think about it here, this is an operational. This is the GFS. The line here, well, actually, if you look through, it's a pretty extreme run. If you have a look on the diagrams, let's go to Birmingham. That green line is the GFS operational. You can see that it's on its own. I know I'm trying to show you it. But yeah, that's what it is. It's an operational. It's slightly higher resolution than all the ensembles. It's meant to be slightly more accurate, but it's never accurate. It's never accurate, the GFS. On once in a blue moon, it's accurate, but typically it's not. The white line is your average line. That's what all the runs are weighed out are going for. So you can see they're oscillating around to slightly below average at times and above average towards the end. So, a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest. Right, let's look at the 5-day precipitation for the next few days. From the UKV, the UK Met Office global run, the UK Met Office run in-house. So you can see bits of rain, sleet and snow across the Yorkshire Dales, the Pennines, and across northern Scotland over the highest ground. I was going to say Ben Nevis. Across the Cairngorm summits and the like. And you can see maybe towards James's Shed, might see a couple of wintry flurries through Sunday. That snow becomes a little bit more widespread. Wintry showers across parts of the Highlands of Scotland, parts of northern England, the Yorkshire Dales, usual suspects, maybe the North Yorkshire Moors, seeing a couple of bits as well. Into Monday, we see a weather front moving in. As that weather front moves in, it will turn to snow, according to this run, if it's correct. Quite a wintry risk, actually. You see cold rain for the south, snow over the higher ground of the Pennines, parts of the central belt of Scotland, possibly. Usually don't do very well for snow, as someone in the chat might know if they are here. And then parts of Aberdeenshire, parts of the western Scotland, extending up northwards into the Highlands, looking quite wintry, looking quite heavy snow as well as we go through the night. Monday into Tuesday, you can see that proper area of low pressure moves up from the southwest. That turns to rain, Lincolnshire, Leicestershire, southwards. The west and southwest are avoiding the majority of the wet weather, but still patchy showers around. And you can see plenty of snow over the highest ground of the Midlands, Derbyshire, those sorts of areas, the Peak District, maybe the Lake District, and again, the Highlands of Scotland. Everywhere else some cold rain. You can see, interestingly here, for the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, elevation will help, and there could be some wintry showers, wintry precipitation falling out of the sky. Excuse me. So that could be interesting. You can see colder air does dig in by the end of the run for Scotland and northern England. So a lot more of this is turning to snow, according to the UKV, if it's correct. Beyond that, more areas of rain moving in might turn wintry over northern England into parts of Scotland. But generally, for most of us, it looks wet and windy, and average to above average temperatures on the whole. Looks quite wet. I mean, that's generally the theme here. Looks quite wet. Just say, James said, Medford's been very funny at the moment. Heavy snow all day for Buxton, but shows rain all day on their radar, because there's rubbish. Barnsley did draw today. Well, the rubbish. Ahmed wish I did. How'd they get on today? You spot Liverpool. Oh, yeah. Football. No, I'm only joking. I understand why people spot. I just personally don't watch it or have an interest in it, to be honest. It's just me, though. I know a lot of people that are in this chat. Gunners. Who's the gunner? That's Arsenal, innit? I don't know. Anyway, get a load of this guy. Right. What am I doing? Right, let's have a look at some extreme runs from the GFS, because that's fun, isn't it? Here's your dream chart for today from P27. Do not take this as a forecast, because it's not happening. 1st of February. Cold block to the north and northeast. This is what happens if a setup did come to fruition every time. Cold block to the northeast, winds in from a northeasterly direction, extending from western Russia. Bitterly cold air flooding across the UK to parts of Ireland, and yeah, pretty snowy as well. That's your dream chart of the day. Thank you all for watching. No, I'm joking. But yeah, that's pretty decent. Unlikely, of course, probably not happening. Is there a weather app you would recommend? I'd recommend for radars. I'll show you. For radars, I would highly recommend this one, which is called Zoom.earth. It has the most, well, what I've found, or Ventusca, they have the most accurate, up-to-date radars. This is on zoom.earth.com, as you can see. This one has got a really good radar on it. You click on radar there, and it gives you a pretty decent live radar using current data, satellites, that sort of thing. So you can see the rain moving in from the southwest. It shows it really well as well, illustrates it really well. Bit of winteriness over Scotland, of course. There you go. That's typical, though. Scotland seeing snow and everywhere else seeing rain. You can see it does show you a projected movement as well of precip, so it is very good, and I do use it sometimes. For your mobile, the Weather Channel, definitely, Andrew, is a very good one. And also on desktop or PC or whatever you want to call it, it's also not bad as well. You can see here, if I go on Weather Channel, they have a live radar. Obviously, I've just sent a location as London. You can see they have a very similar live radar if we compare to the other one, which I've just deleted, but it looks pretty similar. They're both pretty accurate. Net Weather's alright. Weather and Radar app it's alright, yeah. Definitely not the iPhone weather app, yeah. No. That's the one I use. Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, just start chucking it right down where I am. Windy's very good as well. There was also another one, but I forgot the name of it. Wonderground, I think it was. But yeah, Windy is pretty good. It shows you all the wind gusts, shows you all the latest on the temperature, wind gust, and it lets you pick the different models as well. So this is based off the ECM. So it is pretty good as well. They're all pretty good, to be fair. They're not too bad. So yeah, not too bad at all. Gonna say should have a look at the GFS ensembles, but that might be a bit boring. My weather station is linked to Wonderground. Yeah, mine's not linked to anything. I just look over and I see all the stuff. Oh, it's 5.9 degrees. Oh, brilliant. Oh, there's a 90% accuracy. Good. How much precipitous fallen in the last hour? Oh, it's 1,013 HPA at my house right now. That sort of thing. Yeah. I won't weatherize in the UK. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's all right. Okay. What was I going to show you? Wind gusts. That was it. So, might not be mentioned too much. Irish Sea is going to be quite windy tomorrow with that rain moving in. You can see part Isle of Man and northern parts of Northern Ireland are quite windy at times. But beyond that, nothing too bad. We do get a few wind gusts there. You can see for Tuesday with that area of low pressure spinning around the UK. We've got quite strong wind gusts along the east coast in the North Sea, 50 to 60 miles an hour. We've got Irish Sea seeing 50 to 60, possibly 70 miles an hour in some isolated spots. Might be felt inland, parts of Wales and the western England, of course. Yeah, it does look quite strong at times. There you go. Isolated 82 miles an hour just off the coast, so such as Tenby. Seeing some quite strong gusts there. So, one to watch on that one is the general theme. Now, I did just want to quickly run through this. The reason that there is going to be some snow around. So, anything in the green, this green band, anything falling out the sky without elevation will be rain. Anything in the blue and up north can be falling as snow if the timing is right. The dew points, as you can see, are also pivotal. If they are at 0 or -1, it can fall as snow. If it is 1 degree or more, it can fall as a sleety mix or rain. You can see that the majority of the dew points below freezing or at freezing are over your highest routes. So, northern England, parts of the central belt of Scotland, which is why I said it might be rain, because it's 1 degree dew points. That's not going to support snow. Parts of the Highlands are 0 and -1, which is why it's all falling as snow. That's why it's not going to be great for snowfall. On Wednesday, you can see that the colder air moves in, but the dew points rise. So the dew points actually, decrease. So they're down to 0, and then they kind of dissipate as the milder air moves in from the southwest. So that's why there won't be much snow around, in my opinion, unless you live on higher ground, 200 metres elevation at least. Pennines, maybe as far south as the Peak District, Buxton, those sorts of areas. The Pennines, Yorkshire Dales, that's where I think you'll see the heaviest snow. Of course, many parts of Scotland, central Scotland, the Highlands are going to see plenty, I'm sure. If you have a look at the snow depths, this is just a guide from the UKV. When you can see hints of 159 centimetres snow cover over the Cairngorm summits there, reaching as high as 189 centimetres over your highest summits of parts of Scotland. Quite isolated snow depths as well. So, yeah, that's that one. Looking pretty all over the place. There you go. 159 is crazy. It certainly is UK car spotting. Hello to you. I live on 200 metres elevation, Bristol. It could be 1,000 metres elevation, Alf, and you'd still see rain. I'm just saying. That's all that you see. Is there a snowstorm in Algeria and North Africa in the coming days? Could not tell you, I'll be honest, HHH. You're on the wrong channel for that. I'm sure there's plenty of African channels out there which provide weather sources, but I provide UK and sometimes Europe. So, yeah, I think you're on the wrong channel for that, bud. I live in -3, around 3 metres sea level. This winter I have had 33 centimetres of snow. Nice one. I've seen 2 dustings, maybe 3. 3 dustings, technically. And they lasted for about half an hour. One time it did last a while, though, when we had a heavy snow shower. But it only lasted about 20 minutes. So, yeah. Been pretty fruitless this winter, but at least I guess it for like my parents and, your parents and stuff, and anyone that goes to work and things. It's not really brought around any disruption, has it? So that's been quite good for many of you, I'm sure. The only time when it did bring some disruption was when we had that low pressure from the southwest, and it did bring some quite heavy accumulations to the Midlands northwards. Not as far north as me, though, where I saw about a dusting. It was for parts of Sheffield and central England, particularly around the West Midlands. Birmingham did quite well out of that, and there was the pink sky, the pink falling snow, which everyone kind of mentioned. That were quite funny when that happened. I think that might be surprise shoes, man. Yeah, I wouldn't rule anything out. In a snow-starved south, a snowman would stick out like a snow from you. I'm sure it certainly would down there. I only saw one dusting this winter. Yeah, we saw a dusting and 2 coverings, I'd say. Not more than 1 or 2 centimetres though. But at least it's something. I mean, some winters we've gone and we've had nothing. So yeah, it's one of them. So let's round things up because we have done a pretty decent live stream here, and thank you all for tuning in for the return of Send It. Yep, the uploads will return now on a proper schedule. They should be back daily now. Maybe bonus ones for members, possibly. I'm not saying I am, but there might be a couple of extra ones already recorded for you. But yeah. So there's a member. Thank you all for watching this stream today. There is a member stream tomorrow at 3 PM. So if you want to become a member, then press the join button down below for as little as 99p a month, and you can tune in to that stream tomorrow. It should be a good laugh. Usually is just a bit of a chat, running through some models. So last time I think I was ranking sweets or crisps or something. So that was interesting, and I got slated in the comments. But yeah, good laugh. So yeah. Otherwise, I'll see you for your regular video tomorrow, which I haven't recorded it yet. I don't know what it is. Hopefully it's something interesting from me. But yeah, that's all for now. The SSW looks pretty good. 40% would be my chance at the moment. That might increase over the next few days. We'll have to keep monitoring, and you might see it in the videos as well. So we could see some colder weather through February. The start of it doesn't look great, though. Through the end of January, at least, doesn't look great. Looks quite unsettled. Around average temperatures. Snow. Confined to Scotland, northern England, over about 200 metres elevation would be my guess. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend as well, I forgot to say that. Brilliant stream though, pretty popular as well. 110, not bad at all.